is. And I just think that they just like that. I think Justin was the first person that really started doing a lot of hand shots. And
really, yeah, I thought it was Ozzy, but you're right.
Maybe Ozzy. I don't know.
Either one of them.
Yeah.
They're pretty much fucking. They both started their business the same year. It's crazy. I don't know if did you watch any of the Trapsgiving with fucking?
Yeah. I've watched about half of it. I like you. I get up early. I get up at sort of 5 quite a lot, and on Thursday morning I was listening to it, and I got about halfway through, and I will listen to the rest of it.
Right. But, I asked them, when did you guys both establish your brand? And it was 2003. So they both, so
yeah.
You're fucking one of those guys that just they started the wave, man. I'm telling you, so it's really, really, really awesome to kind of hear just their come ups and shit. And they obviously both looked up to Brian. So that real quick, that's another thing. They were, if you thought you guys were excited about Brian were coming on, and I was excited, you should have saw them. They were fucking super stoked that Brian was coming on. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. So man, I'm telling you, it was definitely a surreal feeling. And then now they're they're all chatting together. They all want to get together now. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. Love this hobby.
It was.
I love this hobby, man. So Dorset, the brand, your wife helped you kind of get the Instagram going.
Yeah.
Now, clutch, your first clutch happened when? When did you get your first clutch?
I would say not till, the first time I bred ball pythons was probably in the early 2000s. I had a pair of just normals, and I just kept them together, and I found that where the room I kept them in used to get a bit colder in the winter, and I never tried to breed them, but they used to breed sort of every other year. Just had a couple of clutches out of them, and they were, like I said, they were just normals. And at the time, I had mostly sort of Australian pythons, but it wasn't. I probably started following the ball python game in about 2012. And I kept thinking about dipping my toe in and getting into it. And I was kind of just watching it. And then in 2014, I watched one of Justin's videos that a friend of mine was in, Dave Russian, and they were showing yellow belly pieds and different combos, so firefly, yellow belly, and things like that. And those snakes just blew me away. They were just insane. And that was it. I thought, right, I've got to get a piece of this, So, that was when I, and the amazing thing is that my friend Dave, he's sort of been a really good mentor to me in this game. He only lives an hour from me, and he is super tight with Justin. They are really go back a long way. When Justin comes to the UK, he stays with Dave and that kind of thing. And Dave goes over there. He's been over there. And so, I bought a trio. I bought a firefly pied male. I paid £1,500 for him at the time. So probably like $2,000. And the thing was, the landscape was really different back then. And this is not that long ago. This is sort of, 2015, say. I saw this video and I thought, wow, I'm going to get some yellow belly pieds. I get some females and I'll start breeding some of those snakes. And you couldn't find any. I looked everywhere. UK, Europe, the States. I was looking for some, and there were not. People didn't really sell visuals back then. Maybe that's just my perspective being in the UK and looking, but. So I thought, right, I'll just buy a male and I'll get some hets, or I'll buy some yellow bellies and I'll make some hets, and I'll just go the long road, to making these snakes. And that's really huge how much that's changed in the last few years. You don't have to go back that far. I can remember Justin did an announcement on his kind of price list page, and he said, I'm going to start selling some visual clowns. And that was just a few years ago, maybe sort of 4 years ago, I think. And up till then, if you were looking at his price list, it was mostly hets. He was holding all those visuals back. So people are lucky now. You know, if you've got the money, you can come in and you can pick up some amazing. You know, you can buy the best of the best. You know, if you've got deep pockets, and I mean that's cool. You know.
I think what's cool about that, even if you have like the money and you want to buy the best of the best, you could still easily fuck it up. That doesn't guarantee success. I love it.
No. I mean,
it's crazy. That's one thing I respect. You got to fucking really put in the work and understand this. So
yeah. I mean, I was talking to JP, JP from Canada, earlier this year, and he was sat on a lot of high dollar males. And they weren't breeding. No, they don't always. You know, people will tell you on the net, oh, you can breed them at 500 grams and 600 grams, and they'll breed within. You know, it doesn't always happen. You know, you can put a lot of money into a project, and it's not guaranteed. So, you know, I mean, I think they did come good for him in the end, which is good.
So so JP was stressing because 500-600 gram ball pythons weren't locking for him.
No. He didn't. I mean, they were big enough. You know, sometimes they'll be 700-800 grams, and you put them with a female, and they just don't do anything. But I think, you know, we were talking on social media, and he was just saying, God, you know, I've got these males, you know, and they're just not doing it, you know, and. I mean, that's you've got a lot of money tied up in those.
But
we're talking about.
They're ready when they're ready, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's no fucking. I mean, I kind of talk like fucking like, oh man, the ball python game, it's so guaranteed. But I kind of learned that the hard way this year because I had 4 promising females like that had gone for me the year before that didn't go for me this year, and I was like, fuck, like it kind of, and trust me, these were females I really needed to go for me, like these were fucking loud pairings, like, but you know, it is what it is. I took it for what it was. I had a long talk with Bartek, and you know, food cycling's everything, you know what I mean, and I didn't really understand that part. I always felt if the bitch is hungry, feed her. Just fucking feed.
Yeah.
There's a time and place for that. You got to understand that. You know what I mean? You can't just be feeding a ball python like it's a fucking hometown buffet throughout its whole entire fucking, you know what I mean? Like there's crazy. And I didn't know that. I learned that. I had to learn that 2020. I learned that. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
I still had 13 clutches. I'm not crying, but you know, there's things that you learn about, and you know, and yeah, man, it's fucking weird.
Yeah, I know. I mean, my females tend to feed really heavily now. You know, through the autumn, so you know, September onwards, and then I lower the temperatures. I always do that. Probably around now, you know, the beginning of December. And sometime in January, a lot of them, you know, towards the end of January, a lot of them go off food, and that's a good sign for me. And I found that the ones that, I mean, maybe I should stop feeding them, but the ones that keep feeding and never really stop, they don't go for you, obviously, you know. So, I kind of learned that this year too, you know. So,
yeah, it was weird because let me tell you how weird my year was. Okay, I had my very first, you know, according to my calendar, which, you know, I'm fucking documenting stuff, which I was always against. I'm just here to have fun, but you know, no, I want to get shit right, you know. So I started fucking looking at my previous year on who laid when and what's, you know, based off what I see now and when they go off food, this is what, you know, what I'm expecting, right? So my first clutch was expected to lay in January, end of January, early February of this year. She was off food. Bitch was big. Like, you know, she wasn't getting any smaller. March came along, and I'm talking to Justin Gabelka, and I'm like, Justin, like, this girl she was supposed to lay in January, and she's like, well, have you seen an ovulation yet? And I was like, I haven't even seen an ovulation yet. He's like, well, she's not going to go for you. That's what he said. He's like, just, you know, whatever. He's like, stop pairing, just wait for next year. I'm like, all right. So then, next thing you know, in June, she lays.
Oh, wow.
So she lays a clutch in June, and I'm like, what? And what's crazy is I never saw an ovulation. Right. and that happens, right? You know, especially when you have animals. I had a lot more animals this year to take care of than last year. So missed the ovulation. She lays in June. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I have another snake. That remember the highway that you said it was a path and I got offended. I'm just kidding. No. No. Okay. So she, who laid for me in May of last year, just dropped the clutch in September.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
It's fucking funky, dude. It's weird as shit. So I'm just like, what? Like, so I don't really go by the date. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. Help me, dude. What do I do?
I mean, I think generally, you know, you have those that do lay within a week or, you know, of the same date every year. But I mean, I have a big dreamsicle female out there, and also a clown. I mean, the clown laid. She didn't go for me this year. She laid last year I think in September or something. But I mean, they both have gone off food already. The dreamsicle female laid last year, I think, sort of May or something like that. But you know, that's early for them to go off food. But